This is grade 7 science lesson number 11, sound. So by now we all already know that sound is produced by vibrations. First, there is an activity. For this activity, you will need a speaker, some pieces of polystyrene, a dry cell, and connecting wires. So for this, in order to do this activity, you need a speaker, some pieces of polystyrene, that means some pieces of rigiform, a dry cell, and connecting wires. So the method to do this activity is connect the speaker to the dry cell using the wires and put the pieces of polystyrene on the speaker. So we have to do this activity by connecting the speaker to the dry cell so that we could hear the sound, and then we have to place the pieces of polystyrene or the pieces of rigiform on the speaker. So after doing this activity, we can observe that the polystyrene pieces are thrown up. So we can observe that the pieces of rigiform are thrown up and down. So the conclusion of this activity is that sound is produced by vibrations. Now we will learn about vibrations. A type of speedy to and fro movement is called a vibration. So a vibration is a type of speedy to and fro movement. So we all know that sound is produced by vibrations. Now we are going to learn about vocal cords. Vocal cords are the string-like things which produce sound in our throat. We are able to speak because of the vibrations of the vocal cords in our throat. If we keep our hand near our throat and speak, we can feel the vibrations of the vocal cords. So if we keep our hand near our throat and speak loudly, we can feel that the vocal cords are vibrating. Now we are going to learn about the instruments which produce sound. So now we are going to learn about the instruments which produce sound. Instruments: guitar, violin, viola, sitar. So these types of musical instruments produce sound by vibration of strings. They have strings, so guitar, violin, viola, sitar. That means the instruments which have strings produce sound by vibration of strings. So the next set of instruments are hand drum, tabla, udakia, and raban. So these kinds of musical instruments, that means they are types of drums. They have membranes. So as they have membranes, they produce sound. Their sound is produced by the vibration of membranes. And flute, melodica, trumpet, and horn. Those musical instruments produce sound by vibration of air columns. So guitar, violin, viola, sitar are producing sound by vibration of strings. Hand drum, tabla, udakia, rabana are producing sound by vibration of membranes. And flute, melodica, trumpet, and horn produce sound by vibration of air columns. So now we are going to learn about the instruments. So these all are types of drums. You can see the membranes. They produce sound by the vibration of membranes. So this is a guitar. Here you can see strings. So guitar produced sound by vibration of strings. This is a viola and this is a violin. So vibration of air columns, these are some types of flutes. This is a horn and these are trumpets. So these flutes, horns and trumpets produce sound by vibration of air columns. Now we are going to learn about the propagation of sound. First, there is an activity. For this activity, you will need a bell jar, a vacuum pump, an electric bell, and electricity supply. So in order to do this activity, we need a bell jar, a vacuum pump, an electric bell, and electricity supply. So from this activity, we are going to experiment how sound propagates. So the method to do this activity is using the above materials, construct as shown in the image given below. So you can see an image here. So using the electricity supply, electric bell, bell jar, and the vacuum pump, we have to construct like this. So then we have to make the bell ring. Okay, so after constructing this, we have to make the bell ring and observe. Then we have to make the bell ring again, and this time we should evacuate the air inside the bell jar using this vacuum pump. So we have to ring the bell while evacuating the air using the vacuum pump till there is no air in the bell jar. So the observation of this activity is, that means we can observe from this activity. At first, we can hear the sound of the bell. So at first, that means at the very beginning, we can hear the sound of the bell because still we haven't evacuated the air inside the bell jar. Then slowly the sound fades away as the air gets evacuated by the vacuum pump. So slowly the sound fades away. That means little by little we can't hear the sound because the air is evacuated by the vacuum pump. So when the air is totally evacuated by the vacuum pump, that means when there is no air inside the bell jar, we can't hear the bell ring. So the conclusion of this activity is that sound needs a medium to travel. So sound needs a medium to travel. In space, though two astronauts stay very close and speak, they cannot hear each other because there is no medium in space, which means the sound doesn't travel through it as it is a vacuum. So in space, if two astronauts stay very close and speak, they can't hear each other because there is no medium in space. So sound needs a medium to travel. So there is no medium in space. That means the space is a vacuum. So even though two astronauts stayed very close to each other and speak, they can't hear each other. Speed of sound through matter. Now we are going to learn about the speed of sound through matter. So we have learned that matter, there are three types of matters: gases, liquids, and solids. That means solids, liquids, and gases. So we are going to learn about the speed of sound through those three types of matters. So through air, that means gases, the sound travels 330 meters per second. Through water, the sound travels, that means through liquids, it travels 1,500 meters per second. And through solids or metal, the sound travels 4,500 meters per second. We can identify that sound travels faster through solids than through liquids and gases. So from this table, from the table where we learned about the speed of sound through matter, we can identify that sound travels faster through metal, that means through solids than through liquids and gases. So we already know that sound travels through air. So we can do some activities to find out whether sound travels through liquids and solids. So in rainy days, that means during like flood, when the vehicles are traveling on the road, we can hear the sound of them very loudly than the other days. So it makes it clear that that means sound travels to liquids faster than through air. So from about the solids, we can do an activity. We can make the yogurt cup telephone and test it. Then we can identify that sound travels through solids too. And the main point is that sound travels faster. That means the sound travels very fast through solids than through liquids and gases. So that's the end of the lesson. Hope you understood it well.